you want to elevate your pickleball game, there's one key area that you can't ignore. That area is footwork. Mastering your movement on the court is absolutely essential for success. And right now I'm going to be sharing with you strategies, tips, and 5 different drills that will help you to move like a pro when you're out on the court. So when we think about footwork, we want to think about footwork as the foundation for every single shot that we take. Moving your feet and swinging your paddle at the same time is never a good combination, because anytime that our eyes are moving, that's what causes shanks and pop-ups. So a lot of people that are hitting shanks and pop-ups think that they need to work on their hand-eye coordination, but really they just need to work on their footwork and making sure that their feet are placed prior to hitting every single shot. There are 5 basic footwork principles. Have you ever watched the pros play and just thought to yourself, man, why do they look so effortless as they're playing? And how can I look that effortless when I play? The reason that they look so effortless when they play is because they have drilled footwork for years and years. So let's talk about the first basic footwork principle, and that is your ready position. Everybody's ready position is slightly different. First and foremost, we want to have our paddle out in front of us. After that, we want to have our knees slightly bent, and then we want to make sure that our feet are just outside our shoulders here. So now that we're in this position, where should we put our paddle? Where's the optimal position? If we look at the pros, they all have different ready positions. Someone like Annalie Waters has the tip of her paddle directly up, maybe slightly out, but her paddle's out in front of her. Her elbows are relatively relaxed at her sides as she's in this position. Someone like Ben Johns, he has the tip of his paddle facing upwards and outwards like this. Typically, he'll have one hand on the paddle as he's holding it. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, we have JW Johnson, who has the fastest hands according to all the pros. He actually has his paddle down here. So it's like, what makes sense? What's the best ready position for you? And you have to understand one thing with that. Whenever we're resetting the ball, we're hitting downwards. We're gonna be hitting underspin on the ball. So I'm here and I'm hitting down. So anything that's low, I'm gonna be resetting. Anything that's high, I'm going to be hitting over the ball or hitting topspin. So since JW is down here to start with, he is going to be hitting topspin on the vast majority of the volleys that he hits. So when someone speeds up the ball to him, they're gonna have to get it lower than this for him to have to hit down on it. Other than that, he's just gonna be hitting over the ball. So if you think about that, if you wanna hit majority of your counters and you're comfortable doing that, hitting them with topspin, which why wouldn't you? I don't know why you wouldn't. Then you wanna have your ready position a little bit lower. What's most important with the ready position is just making sure that it's out in front of us. Now, I think that the perfect in-between is Ben Johns, because he has the tip of his paddle still slightly upwards, but it's out in front of him. It's about waist height, okay? So it's not super down low like JW, it's not way up high like Annalie, but it's here. And there's a purpose to that, because if anything goes below your waist, you're gonna wanna reset that anyway. So he's gonna be cutting under the ball or resetting it into the kitchen here, and anything high, he's going to be hitting over the ball, hitting topspin on that shot. So it makes sense for him. This makes sense for majority of players, but it might not make sense for you. And then we have Annalie Waters, who's up here. The reason that she is up here is because she has a two-handed backhand. If you think about the two-handed backhand and hitting a volley, you're going to be creating a C motion as you hit through the shot. So she's creating this C as she hits through the shot. So she's already starting up. So she's here, down, out, up as she hits through the shot. So this makes the most sense for her specific ready position, because that's gonna allow her to hit the optimal shot. She has the fastest hands in all of women's pickleball. So she's obviously doing something right. So I would suggest, if you have a two-hander, copy Annalie's ready position. If you have a one-hander, copy Ben's. And if it feels way more comfortable to you, copy JW's down here. Another thing with JW's is it keeps him so relaxed. The more relaxed your arms are, the quicker that they are. Whereas if they're less relaxed, you're gonna be tense and you're gonna be slower. You can think about it as if you're throwing a ball. You can launch the ball a whole lot further if you have a spaghetti or noodle arm, okay, really relaxed. Someone like Tom Brady's a good example. In comparison to if you have a stiff arm and you're really trying to get it there, it's not gonna allow you to be able to get that slingshot effect and get it to where it needs to go. Basic footwork principle number 2 is the split step. We've all heard of the split step. It's where we split our feet apart right as our opponent hits the ball. This helps us to be able to launch in any direction a whole lot quicker than if we were just standing flat-footed. It's actually a scientific fact that any time that you split step as they hit the ball, you're gonna be able to react faster than if you're just merely standing there. Principle number 3 is make sure that you push off with your inside leg. So if the ball goes to my left, I'm going to be pushing off with my right leg. In essence, I'm stepping with that outside leg first. This is gonna help me to get to the ball a whole lot quicker than if I were to cross my leg. I'm gonna be able to move a whole lot more efficiently than if I'm doing this. As you can see, just from watching that, it's a whole lot faster to push off that inside leg and go out. If the ball goes to my right, I'm gonna be pushing off this left leg. Principle number 4 is that you wanna cross step on your way back. So we push off that inside leg, and then when I'm coming back, so I've hit my shot, right? Boom, I'm coming back, I'm going to cross step here and then get back into my ready position. That's gonna help you to be able to move efficiently and stay facing towards your opponents. What you'll see some players do, lower level players, maybe they'll step out correctly, hit that shot, and then they'll turn and run back to their ready position. If the ball comes back over here and you have now turned and you're running this way, you're gonna be late getting back to that ball. So that's why you wanna implement the cross step, is because you're still facing towards your opponents and then you can still jump off of that inside leg to get out to that ball. That brings us to principle number 5, and that is that we always wanna be facing towards our opponents with our feet. The reason that we wanna do that, especially in pickleball, is because we cannot step in the kitchen and hit a volley out of the air. We of course can dink in there, but it wouldn't make any sense for us to get sideways when we're at the kitchen and hitting our volleys. We just won't have that reaction time. We're so much closer to our opponents than in any other sport. Basic principle number 6, and that is that we want to take big steps rather than little steps. If I can get somewhere in 3 steps, why would I do it in 5? Obviously, the less steps that I make to do something, the more energy that I save and less energy that I spend. So, big steps, not small steps. All right, now we're gonna talk about my 5 favorite drills to practice footwork. The first drill to talk about is the split around the cones drill. This drill is great for practicing your split step and moving forward, as well as when you're on defense and moving backwards. You're going to start this drill by stepping with your right leg and then split stepping over the cones. Stepping with your right leg again, split stepping over the cones, all the way until you make it to the kitchen, and then you're gonna do the same exact thing back to the baseline. You then repeat this by stepping first with your left leg, splitting over the cone, all the way to the kitchen line, and then all the way back to the baseline. This next drill is the step out and tap the cones drill, and it's great for practicing stepping with that outside leg and pushing off your inside leg. You begin by scattering the cones around the court in different positions, and then you number the cones 1 through 4. You're then gonna run to the first cone, tap it with your paddle, run to the second cone, tap it with your paddle, and you're focusing on stepping with that inside leg. You're then gonna run to each cone and tap it with your paddle. As you're doing so, you're gonna focus on pushing off of that inside leg and stepping with your outside leg prior to moving from each cone. The next drill is the figure 8s drill, and for this drill you're going to be creating a figure 8 around both cones, all while shuffling. Remember that you're not karaoke stepping, you're just shuffling, meaning you're bringing both feet together and apart, you're never crossing them. The next drill is cross steps, and this drill is going to help you to be able to practice getting back to your ready position. The last drill ties it all together with full footwork intervals. With your paddle in hand, you're going to run out towards the ball, do a shadow swing, cross step back, come back to your ready position, and then do the same thing on the other side. Focusing on making sure that you're pushing off with your inside leg every single time that you move to one side of the court, and making sure that every time that you come back to your ready position, you're crossing your legs or doing a karaoke step. All right, I just ran through those drills. They absolutely wiped me out. It doesn't help that it's 350 degrees out here in southern Utah right now, but I guess it does help because if I go play in a tournament anywhere else, I won't be playing midday, and I can get through anything after that. So I know that it will help you guys a ton. I feel like my footwork just improved tenfold from where it already was just from doing those. I noticed that I was having a hard time stepping with my left leg when I would have to step with my outside leg. So do the same for you guys. If you want to see the exact equipment that you need for your next tournament, I just barely uploaded this video. Be sure to check it out, and I'll see you on the next one.